All right, another Saturday up at the Black Bear Apiary. So this is my hive number 2. Pulled a little bit of honey from this last week, so it didn't get all the way down into the bottom brood box. So kind of pulling this guy apart. It's pretty looks to be a pretty healthy hive. Taking advantage of the cooler temperatures today and going outside. Yeah, they all pretty social right now. About as many in that other box too, so it's a good hive. Sometimes when they do this and you're trying to put things back together, get a little complicated. A little bit of smoke helps. Of course, if you want them to move, you just get out of the way, get out of the way, get out of the way. Watch out, watch out, watch out, watch out. And they move. Got to go nice and slow so you're not gonna crush all those hard-working ladies. Slide down in there. There we go. Okay. Oh, sorry. Almost got one. All right. Lots of brood, lots of honey, lots of bees. And no swarms. No swarm cells, thankfully. It's a good sign. So I'm probably going to steal a little more honey since the flow is kind of wrapped up around here and close her back up. All right, gonna do a quick little honey video here. So I got a frame next to me. Hopefully you can see it pretty well. We've got honey, so capped honey, my finger's pointing to right there on the far left side, and then all the way down that left side. And then try to get a little bit closer, see if you can see. There's nectar and well, it's really honey inside of those uncapped frames. And then if I switch over to the back side, about the same thing, all right? So capped honey on the right side of the frame as you're looking at it, and then more honey and nectar on the other side. So you know, some people wonder, okay, when can you take this? Can I scrape off that honey and take it with me? Could take the capped honey there, but what you really want to see is something like 70, well, actually more like 80-90% of this thing capped before you take it off, and that's mostly tied to the moisture content of the honey. So when it's capped, another good thing about bees is when it's capped, that's pretty much the bees. Mosquito on me, sorry. That's the bees telling you, hey, we're done, and it's done, right? So the honey's all good to go. When it's uncapped like that, you can probably see that in there. There's still honey in there, and it's probably pretty good. I could dig in there and grab some, but the moisture content is probably still a little too high for it to really be solid, you know, unfermentable honey. So yeah, so you want to look for like 80, really 90 or 100% of this thing capped before you pull it. It's not always feasible because they're not always super even with how they distribute that honey, but that's it. So this thing is heavy. This thing is, gosh, 6-7 pounds. I mean, this frame is absolutely stacked wall to wall, but it's not all capped. So I'm gonna put this thing back and just keep an eye on where it's at. Remember where it's at, and you know, maybe next week they'll have this thing pretty much closed off for a couple weeks, and then hopefully I can harvest this whole thing and have, you know, several jars coming out of this one frame. So, but that's one of the calculus when you're looking. Hey, do I pull the honey or do I just leave them and wait a little while longer? And that's some things to consider. So they're on their way.